morning. This is Elizabeth Estel, Homeschool Christian Mom, and thank you for joining me today for my live. What kind of a homeschool mom are you? Are you a drill sergeant? Are you a negotiator? Or are you a game show host? And so we're going to be talking about some different ideas here about how you manage your day. Now, drill sergeant seems pretty matter of fact as far as you kids are going to be down here at the table at 8:30 and you're going to have your pencils ready and you're going to start right now and you're going to finish by lunch and no food until that's done or you'll give me 50 sit-ups. So most people would say that probably wouldn't work. But there are the negotiator moms and they're like, oh, look it. I have some star stickers. You can get a star sticker if you get this work done. And then we'll have some special treat later in the afternoon if you get that done. And if you get all your work done for the whole week, we can do this on Friday. And now, the trouble with that is what? You probably know already. There are only so many stickers and there are only so many things you can negotiate. So you need to use your negotiations very wisely if you're going to do that. And then, of course, there's the game show host moms, complete with the outfit. Come on down, kids. It's going to be real exciting today. We're having homeschool today, and we have some wonderful assignments for you, some delicious, wonderful things to eat, some great books to read, and look, behind me, there's an envelope with money, and you could win a trip in a hot air balloon around the world. That's right, kids. Come on down for homeschool today. Now, what's the trouble with that one? Well, that problem is it's hard to keep up that energy. But the other problem is who's having the self-discipline and the motivation and energy to keep that going? It's the mom. Now, does that work for you? Well, some days it works just great, doesn't it? And other days you're going to be really dragging and it's not going to happen. So, what can you do about all this? Well, let's talk about how to manage your homeschool day. So we'll do it by numbers. So rule number 1 is everybody gets a mercy call once a day. There's going to be something that happens that you're just going to be like, you spilled your milk again. And you need to have one mercy call a day for each kid. And the second thing you need to do is have 2 rules. Now, you might say, oh, we have hundreds of rules in our house, but maybe that's one of the problems. There's too many rules. You need to have just a couple of rules that cover a lot of things so that you can just go by those 2 rules. And we have do your best and be kind. Because if you're kind, that covers a lot of things. Are you teasing your sister? You're not being kind. Are you not doing your chores? You're not being kind to your mom because she needs help. Are you working hard like you're supposed to be? Well, then you're not doing your best. So 2 rules, be kind and do your best. And then 3, know where you're going every day. Have a goal. Now, this is a broad goal, like a mission statement. Like, we are trying to train you to be great, wonderful people and have the education you need to succeed in life. Or you could say, I'm trying to train special ops Christian soldiers to serve the Lord in whatever capacity he calls them to. But you're going to have an overall mission statement, and then you're going to have daily goals. We need to get 1 lesson done in each subject today, and we need to double up in math and social studies today, and we'll double up in science and language arts tomorrow, so that Friday we can have off because we have an appointment to go somewhere. But you're going to have both big goals and like your mission statement and daily goals. And then you're going to have a schedule. So you might have some rules for your schedule, like you have to have 4 subjects done by lunch. One of those subjects has to be math, and I have a quitting time every day, mostly because I didn't want school to drag on too long. course, there's flexibility with these things. I'm not saying there's not flexibility, but you want to at least have a quitting time for that. And then you want to get it done. So there's no dilly-dallying, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, we're getting to work and we're getting it done. And then one thing I found that is very, very important with homeschooling is that you need to be intentional about your fun. Because sometimes as moms, we just get it in our head, this, and this, and this, and this. It's got to be done. We haven't checked it off the list yet. It's not done yet. And then we forget to be intentional with our fun. So whether that means playing a game of chess with one of your children, or running outside, or playing t-ball or kickball in the backyard, or just making silly monster cupcakes. Whatever that fun means to your family, be very intentional about it, especially as you are teaching at home, because sometimes that is what gets lost. You get your schoolwork done, your assignment is turned into your teacher. If you're, depending on what kind of system you're using, you might be turning it into a public school teacher or a Schoology program that you're using, or you have another program that you actually mail things into or send it electronically, or your mom grades it, whatever works at your household. But sometimes we're very organized about those things and we forget to be organized about our fun. So don't forget to do that. And then I'm just going to go through a list of things that you need to avoid with your homeschooling, just as a reminder. So avoid angry outbursts. Now that's a lot easier said than done, but just that's your general rule. You're going to avoid angry outbursts. And you're going to try to avoid punishing your children when you are angry. And thanks so much for joining me. And if you're watching this on a replay later, please give me a hashtag relay too. And we want to be very careful that we're not ridiculing our children. That is not good for them. It's not good for you. They are children. By definition, they are immature people. And we need to be careful how we use our intelligence and our kindness and compassion with our children and not make fun of them. And we need to be loyal to our children. When you're telling stories about your children later, I highly recommend that you never use names. You say, well, one of my children did this, or one of my children did that. Now, I have 3 girls and 1 boy, but from all my stories, you would think I either had 4 boys or 4 girls, because I try to be very careful not to use their names. And that's just a loyalty thing, so that they don't feel like you are making fun of them. And then don't be constantly negative. There are times in our children's lives where it is very easy to be constantly negative. Don't do that. Don't touch that. What are you doing? What are you into? Why is this out? And then we have to just remind ourselves, that's not good. They need some positive encouragement too. My mom said there was one time that the only thing she could think positive to say about me was, oh, your hair looks nice. You combed it today. So there are those times, but you want to just be very careful when you're talking to your children to be positive. Think of something positive you can say to them to encourage them. And then also, as much as possible, discipline and correct your children privately. I had one child that said, well, you never said that to the other kid. They get away with this or that. I said, just because you didn't see them get disciplined doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And now it's your turn. We're not talking about them. We're talking about you, and we need to correct this behavior. So as much as you can, discipline and correct your children in a private setting. And don't make light of a children's fears or anxieties. They are children. They think like children. Things seem bigger or more scary to them because they are children. So don't look down on that or poo-poo it. Talk through it with them. Give them some good skills to deal with things so that they cannot be worried. And you reassure and inspire them. Your job is their chief encourager. Maybe I should have put, are you a cheerleader for your children? But that could be next week. So we're trying to just work with our children and have a very positive influence with them, and in a way that we don't drain our own energy. So I said, are you a drill sergeant, a negotiator, or a game show host? Well, the negotiator, we said that takes a lot of energy, and usually we don't have enough things to negotiate. And the drill sergeant can just be overbearing and sometimes almost mean. And the game show host is a lot of energy to keep up, and sometimes you would get tired of wearing your game show host bow tie, and then what happens? So what do we need to do? Well, we need to be good teachers, and I am going to say we need to be a little bit fruity. So what is that talking about? So as a good teacher, we want to emphasize in our own lives the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness of God, gentleness, and self-control that we want to see in our children. And by doing that, we will be teaching by example, and we'll have a calm demeanor so that when things do get a little harried and excited and upset at our house, we can say, okay, now how are we going to handle this? The milk got spilled and the math is not done and you didn't write your sentences. Now, I don't know if you saw it on my homeschool page, but I had a little blue box. It said, please pray for my 8-year-old son. He has to write 4 sentences. Of course, it's a joke, but 8-year-old boys do not like to write sentences, and they feel like they are really under a lot of stress. So how can we deal with that in a better way? So you might have some negotiation that you do, negative consequences and positive consequences. If you can sit down and write these 4 sentences in the next 20 minutes using capital letters, good punctuation, and talk about the subject you're supposed to be talking about, we can do this later. And you might need to do that at times. So one of the other things you need to do is know your children so you can know what motivates them and what doesn't. So we're talking today about having a mercy call for each child each day, having 2 rules that cover a lot of ground: do your best and be kind. Know where you're going with a mission statement with your children, and also know where you're going each day with your children. Like some people have a morning meeting where they say, okay, well, this is what we're doing today, and then everybody goes to their spots and gets to work. Have a schedule, and then get it done. That the pattern in your house should be that people sit down and get their work done. And then be intentional with your fun, because sometimes that is what gets lost with homeschooling, is that the fun part gets lost. We get all the school done, but the fun gets like, what am I doing? And everybody spreads out and they're alone and they're on electronics and they're not interacting well socially. So make sure you plan your good fun times as well as everything else. So I hope that helps you today, whether you tend to be a drill sergeant, a negotiator, or a game show host. This will help you give some good ideas to be a better homeschool mom and teacher. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll be on next Tuesday at 10 also, and we'll talk some more about what you can do to be a better homeschool mom and use your resources well. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.